which have very little interest and relevance to anyone in New Mexico. So this is a much more populated and warmer affair. Millicent Rogers and Searching for Beauty came out a year and a half ago, and in the past, during those months, I have done a lot of talking about her and talking about this book, which is now out in softcover. And I thought, walking over here, you learn a number of things after your book is out. And I do catch myself asking myself again and again, you know, what is it about Millicent that seems to fascinate people and attracts them to her and to her story? Now, I certainly know, and I'm going to detail more of that, what it was for me, but I think it is that, first off, that great fantasy of a woman who is beautiful, but is, in a fairy tale way, has all of this money and is in the middle of it all. And then, in her case, and I'm going to talk in more detail about that, but she reinvented herself and made herself through the phases of life, through phases of American history, again and again. And that is the piece that I think is really captivating. Much is said about the lasting impression that she made in the world of fashion, and she did, but this really isn't a fashion book. The fashion almost becomes reflective of the way that she was changing, I think, in her heart and in her mind and in her philosophy and in her life. So since I have spoken in Taos before about her, and you all, more than other places where I speak, I'm assuming you know who she is. I want to not just do a set presentation here, but let you ask questions as well. So I'm going to give you a brief little summary of the book. First off, can I ask you, this is not a quiz, has anybody here heard me speak before? Besides my family? You have. Okay. And has anybody here read the book? Okay. So that we don't, so I don't bore you to death. I really discovered Millicent Rogers the way I think many people do, which is walking into the marvelous museum out here, the Millicent Rogers Museum, and I had no idea who she was. I'd come to live here, or at that point was skiing out here visiting, and I caught myself looking at that big photo of hers, life-size on the wall, with the silver jewelry up her arms, and it was a photo that had been taken for Harper's Bazaar. And I thought, who is this woman, and why have I not heard about her? I had heard about Mabel Dodge Luhan, Dorothy Brett, Frida Lawrence, and these other legends that had come to Taos. But I had not heard and was not familiar with Millicent Rogers. And as I started researching this as a subject that I could be interested in writing about, what hooked me was that really, out of a 51-year life, Millicent only lived 6 years here. And all of her life, she was born in 1902, had been very emblematic of periods in American history. Granted, it was rich history, but still, she was the product, when she was born in 1902, of the robber barons, the great tycoons, and that amassing of great American fortunes. Her grandfather was one of Rockefeller's partners in the creation of Standard Oil. Then she was a debutante. She was a flapper. She grew up in gilded New York society at a time when society in the U.S. and in New York in particular, flush with money, was really imitating the British aristocracy and emulating that great